Input tax credit part 3. I have already explained sufficiently about GST, types of GST and other related issues. As you know, GST has been introduced on 1st July 2017, replacing several individual indirect taxes like KVAT, CST, excise duty, service tax, luxury tax, entertainment tax, etc. It is one nation, one tax. Already I told you that input tax credit is one of the important components of GST. Actually, there are three types of GST. Number one, CGST, Central Goods and Services Tax. SGST, State Goods and Services Tax. But wherever there is union territory, in that case, UTGST. And third one is IGST, Integrated Goods and Services Tax. If the goods are supplied within the state, then two taxes are levied simultaneously, that is CGST as well as SGST. Supposing the GST rate is 12%, 6% will be levied as CGST and 6% is levied as SGST. And if the goods are supplied to a dealer of some other state, in other words, if the sale is interstate, then IGST is applicable. IGST is not divisible. If it is 12%, 12% only. As I have mentioned, you have to understand how input tax credit is being applied in the computation of net tax liability. See, there are three things. One is output tax, that's on outward supply. You may supply the goods to a dealer, and when you supply the goods, you collect the taxes. These are called output taxes. Similarly, you are supplied with goods by some other dealer and you are receiving the goods. In turn, you are paying the tax. That is called input tax. Input tax is on inward supply. Output tax is on outward supply. Now, what is the tax liability? Output tax minus input tax, that is the net tax payable. How to use the input tax? Already I explained in my previous presentation, but anyway, very quickly let me explain that. First, you have to make use of IGST input tax credit towards the payment of liability of IGST. Okay, if there is any surplus, that could be utilized towards the payment of CGST and SGST in any order and in any proportion. Any order in the sense, first the surplus IGST could be used to pay CGST, and if there is any balance, that could be used to pay SGST. Or first you can use it towards payment of SGST, and if there is any surplus, that you can use towards CGST. So in any order and in any proportion, that means not necessary that you have to make use of that first for one and the balance to the second, not necessarily. You can share it in the ratio of 50-50 or say 70-30 or 30-70, 40-60 or 60-40, that way. So thus surplus IGST must be utilized for the payment of CGST and SGST in any order and in any proportion. Input tax credit of IGST must be fully exhausted before applying or utilizing CGST input tax credit and SGST input tax credit. So first, IGST input tax credit must be exhausted. After that, input tax credit of CGST must be utilized towards CGST output tax. If there is any surplus, that can be utilized for paying IGST output tax in that order. Similarly, SGST input tax credit should be used towards the payment of output tax of SGST. If there is any surplus, that should be utilized towards payment of IGST. It cannot be used against or towards CGST. Similarly, surplus of CGST credit cannot be that is input tax credit cannot be used towards the payment of SGST. Okay, right. So that's about in brief the use of ITC at the time of computation of taxes. GST. Now let us take a problem. Ms. Rutuparna, a registered dealer in Mandya. So Mandya is in Karnataka. You must remember that because this is very important in order to ascertain whether the supply is intrastate or interstate. Based on that, you are applying the calculating the taxes. Okay. Submits the following information for the month of November 2019. Details of purchases and other expenses excluding GST. Raw material A purchased from Tamil Nadu, so it is interstate. Alright, GST rate is 28%, so IGST. Then raw materials B purchased from Mangalore, rate of GST is 18%. So this is within Karnataka, therefore CGST and SGST are the rate of 9% each. 18% is divided equally between CGST and SGST. The raw material purchased from USA for rupees 22,06,000, which includes BCD 10%. Rate of IGST is 12%. So even here, so the price should include BCD but not IGST. So this is the right value that we have to take. But this is from USA. It is import. So IGST has to be calculated at the rate of 12%. Raw material D purchased from a dealer of Mysore who opted for composition scheme, rupees 5 lakh. Okay. While computing the transaction value, you have to take this. Even when you purchase from a dealer who opted for composition scheme. What is composition scheme? In the case of composition scheme, the dealer pays a fixed rate of GST, but he cannot collect any taxes from the dealer to whom the goods have been supplied. Similarly, he cannot take any input tax credit. So this facility is available, or this privilege is available only to those dealers whose turnover is not more than 1 crore, but that has been extended to 1.5 crore now. Okay. Then raw material E purchased from special economic zone in Bangalore. This is considered to be deemed import, though Bangalore is in Karnataka. Since it is purchased from special economic zone, that is deemed to be import. Therefore, IGST is applicable on 1 lakh. Services received from a registered dealer of Dharwad, 1 lakh. Rate of GST applicable is 18%. So from Dharwad, therefore CGST and SGST at the rate of 9% each, 50-50. Raw materials purchased from local market, GST at 5% on 50,000. Okay, this is also within Karnataka, therefore CGST and SGST at the rate of 2.5%. Subsidy received from NGO, which was directly related to price of the goods, rupees 1,50,000. So this is to be included in transaction value as well as a transaction value. That's all. Yes. Next, penalty levied by Mr. Ramu for delayed payment. This is to be calculated at the end after calculating cost of production and cost of supply. The subsidy received from central government, which was directly linked to the price of the product, so this is exempt while computing the transaction value. Additional incentive paid to the employees of the sales department, that is part of transaction value. Warranty charges, manufacturing expenses, storage, transportation cost and insurance, these are all part of transaction value. Profit margin of a manufacturer is 14% on selling price. So here it is given on selling price, but what you calculate is cost of goods, cost of production, and therefore this must be converted into cost. So supposing the selling price is 100, profit is 14 rupees, I mean. As a result, the cost is 86. So you have to calculate here 14 divided by 86. On the cost of 86, you will make a profit of 14. Then what is it on cost of production? So that way you have to calculate. I'll explain again later on. Then details of sales for GST at 18%. 10% of the total cost of finished goods sold to a dealer at Punjab. So interstate sale. So IGST has to be calculated. 15% of goods sold to an unregistered dealer at Mangalore. So it doesn't matter whether you sell it to or supply it to registered or unregistered dealer. So it is intrastate transaction. So CGST and SGST is are to be calculated. Then 30% of goods sold to USA, and this is an export. So it is a zero rated supply, and therefore no tax is being levied. 25% of goods sold to a unit of export oriented unit, and this is also considered to be deemed export. So it is a zero rated transaction. So zero rate is applied here, therefore no tax. Remaining goods are sold to a dealer at Andhra Pradesh who opted under composition scheme. So yes, remaining means 10 plus 15, 25, 25 plus 30, 55 plus 25, so 80. Therefore 20% remains. So that is sold to a dealer in Andhra Pradesh who opted under composition scheme. That doesn't matter for us when you're selling, but the problem is if you purchase the goods from the dealer who opted under composition scheme. So you have to compute the net tax liability of Ms. Rituparna. Here, as I mentioned you earlier, first you have to compute transaction value. So we'll take up computation of transaction value for computing GST of Ms. Rituparna. Okay, raw material A purchased from Tamil Nadu. Okay, that is included under transaction value. Raw materials B purchased from Mangalore. Raw material C purchased from USA. Raw materials D purchased from dealer of Mysore. These are all included for calculating transaction value. Raw material E purchased from special economic zone in Bangalore. That's also part of transaction value. Services received from a registered dealer of Dharwad, yes, part of transaction value. Raw materials purchased from local market, that's also included in the transaction value. Then you have to add to the above items the following further items. Subsidy received from an NGO which was directly related to price of the goods. Additional incentive paid to the employee of the sales department, warranty charges, manufacturing expenses, storage, transportation cost and insurance. But subsidy received from central government which was directly linked to the price of the product, that is exempt. So if you add up all these items, then what you get is 74,31,000. As I mentioned, this is nothing but cost of production. To this you have to add profit margin. What is mentioned there in the problem is profit is at the rate of 14% on sales. So if it is on sales, you cannot apply that on this amount 74,31,000 because what you get here is cost of production. So this must be calculated on cost. Therefore, you have to change the procedure. 100 is the selling price, let us take, minus profit 14 rupees. Then what is left out is 86. 86 is the cost. In other words, selling price minus profit is equal to cost. Cost plus profit is equal to selling price. So you get the equation here. Therefore, what we need is cost. Cost is equal to selling price minus profit. So if the cost is 86, you make a profit of 14. What is it on 74,31,000? This is also cost. You cannot apply, for example, 14% because it is given on selling price. But here what is available is cost. So you have to change it on cost. So that will be 14 by 86. So if you apply 14 by 86 on 74,31,000, that is cost of production, you will get value like 9,698. So what you get is cost of material supply. So that is 86,40,698. Now you have to add penalty for delayed payment, and that is 302. So when you add up 302 to the above item, that is cost of material supply, you will get 86,41,000, that is transaction value or value of supply. On this you are going to calculate the output tax. Now let us calculate the output tax. So 10% of the total cost of the finished goods sold to a dealer of Punjab. The supplier is in Karnataka and the dealer to whom the goods are supplied, he is in Punjab. So the transaction is interstate. Therefore IGST is to be calculated. 86,41,000. On that you have to calculate 10%. So that is 8,64,100. On that you have to calculate 18%. See, on all supplies or sale, rate is 18%. Therefore 8,64,100 into 18% comes to 1,55,538. 15% goods sold to an unregistered dealer at Mangalore. Mangalore is in Karnataka only, so intrastate sale. So 86 lakh into 15%. So you will get 12,96,150. On that, if you apply 9%, okay, here actually 18%, but since it is the intrastate transaction, 18% must be divided into 9% each. That is CGST 9%, SGST 9%. So the amount you get in each case is 1,16,654 and 1,16,654, and that is no IGST. And 30% of goods sold to USA, that is considered to be zero rated supply, and therefore nil tax here, nil output tax. And 25% of the goods sold to export oriented unit, so deemed to be export, and therefore nil rates. So here it is zero rated transaction, therefore nil rate. Remaining goods, that is 20%. Already I told you how you get 20%. Sold to a dealer at Andhra Pradesh who opted under composition scheme. So you are selling to a dealer in Andhra Pradesh. It is a composition scheme. But when you are selling, it doesn't matter. But if you are buying, of course, you are not entitled to get input tax credit. So 86 lakh 41,000 into 20%, that comes to 17 lakhs 28,200. On that, you have to calculate 18%. Here 0 must be included, 0 is omitted. So that comes to 3 lakh 11,076. This is interstate transaction, therefore IGST, not CGST and SGSTs. Okay, now if you look at the total output tax output tax payable in the case of CGST, 1,16,654, and SGST output tax 1,16,654 again, and IGST 4,66,614. Now let us see the value of input tax. Raw material A purchased from Tamil Nadu. So Tamil Nadu, it's a different state, so interstate sale. On 10 lakh you would apply 28% IGST. Raw material B purchased from Mangalore, intra-state transaction. So CGST and SGST, 18% is divided into 9% each. So this is the value. Raw material C purchased from USA, that is considered to be deemed import. Sorry, import only. Yes, on 22 lakh 6,000 you would apply 12%. So you are getting IGST. Raw materials D purchased from dealer of Mysore. Okay, yes. Raw material D purchased from dealer of Mysore, dealer under composition scheme. Therefore, ITC is not available. So no ITC is available because under composition scheme, the supplier, he will not collect any tax from the receiver of the goods. Similarly, he is not entitled to utilize input tax credit from his supplier. Therefore, no input tax credit here. Raw materials E purchased from special economic zone in Bangalore. So that is deemed import. So on 10 lakh at the rate of 5%, so 50,000. Services received from a registered dealer of Dharwad. Dharwad is in Karnataka only, so intrastate transaction. So on 1 lakh at the rate of 9%, actually 18% rate, but divided between CGST and SGST, therefore 9% each. So 9,000 amount in both the cases. Raw materials purchased from local market, it's an intra-state transaction. It's 50,000 into 5%. So 1,250 and 1,250. Now if you calculate the total input tax credit, 1,90,250 and 1,90,250, and in the case of IGST, 5,94,720. Now let us compute the GST payable. See, output tax payable is 1,16,650, 1,16,650, and in the case of IGST 4,66,614. This is what you have calculated. Just see here, these figures are drawn here. Alright, now what you have to do is, first you have to find out whether there is IGST output tax, input tax. Yes, there is input tax here, 5,94,720. So first input tax credit in the case of IGST should be utilized towards the payment of IGST. Okay, here after setting it off, there is a balance of 1,28,106. Now, before using input tax credit of CGST or SGST, you have to exhaust all the input tax credit of IGST. Therefore, first 1,28,106 must be utilized towards CGST and SGST in any order and in any proportion. For example, this can be utilized towards the payment of CGST, then remaining amount can be used here. Or this can be utilized here first, then the surplus amount, if any, that could be used towards CGST. Or both could be utilized for towards the payment of both CGST and SGST in any proportion. Maybe equally, here we have applied it equally, utilized that equally, but it need not be equally. It could be in any proportion. For example, 50-50, 70-30, 30-70, 60-40, 40-60, 20-80 or 80-20. So in any proportion. But here we have utilized that equally between CGST and SGST. Alright, so we have exhausted entire 1 lakh, here we are using entire 1,28,106 towards the payment of CGST and SGST. Okay, after exhausting, the balance of CGST liability and SGST liability are 52,601 and 52,601. Okay, now you have to utilize, say, input tax credit of CGST and input tax credit of SGST. So utilize them. But here output tax liability is lesser than the input tax credit. So still the balance remain in the electronic credit ledger, which can be utilized subsequently. So there is no GST liability payable at this juncture. So that's about this problem. Let me very briefly explain once again. IGST is this much. First you have to compare that with the IGST input tax credit. Input tax credit is 5,94,720. First use this towards IGST. So there is still balance 1,28,106. So this has to be utilized towards CGST and SGST before using input tax credit of CGST and SGST. So we use this. We use it equally. But I told you already that it can be used in any order and in any proportion. Okay, so 64,053, that is these are the amounts we got by dividing 1,28,106 equally. Okay, the balance CGST after set off of surplus IGST is 52,601 and SGST is 52,601. Now you utilize input tax credit of CGST and SGST. So the available value here is, say, 1,90,250, 1,90,250. What we need is just 52,601 in both the cases. So the remaining amounts are surplus ITC, so which will be there in electronic credit ledger. Okay, now we'll move on to the next problem. Following are the transactions of a taxable person in Karnataka for the month of November 2019. Compute total turnover and GST payable. Supply to a taxable person in Mysore. Okay, Mysore is in Karnataka. Intrastate supply. So 5% must be divided into CGST and SGST equally, 2.5% each. Supply to a taxable person in Goa. This is interstate transaction. and therefore IGST has to be calculated on this 2,40,000. Supply to a taxable person in Bangalore. This is intra-state transaction, so 6% each on 2 lakh. Supply to a taxable person in Udupi at the instructions of a dealer in Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, instruction is received from Jammu and Kashmir, though the goods are supplied to a person in Udupi. This is considered to be interstate transaction. So GST has to be calculated. Supply to a unregistered person in Mangalore. So this is intra-state transaction. So 14% each. Supply to a special economic zone developer in Bangalore. This is zero rated transaction and deemed to be export, and therefore no tax is to be applied here. Supply to a taxable person in Pondicherry, so interstate transaction, so IGST has to be calculated. Supply to a registered person in Pune, this is exempt, however, so no output tax. Export to China, okay, export trade, export supply, and no tax is levied here, zero rated. Supply to a unit of special economic zone in Mysore. Special economic zone means zero rated, no tax, zero rated. Supply to a taxable person in Udupi, so intra-state transaction, so taxable but at the rate of 6% each. Supply to a dealer in Belgaum, again within Karnataka, so taxable at the rate of 14% each as CGST and SGST. Now input tax credit you need not calculate here, it's already given. Credit in electronic credit ledger, that is IGST 1,70,000, CGST 90,000 and SGST 1,50,000. Yes. Now let us calculate the output tax and then deduct input tax, and then you are calculating the net tax payable. Supply to a taxable person in Mysore. Yes. So 5% is divided into 2.5. As a result, on 1 lakh turnover, you are calculating 2.5 each, 2,500, 2,500. I'm sorry, this is not to be taken. Wrongly it is printed there, so it is not to be taken. Next, supply to a taxable person in Bangalore, 12%. Again here it should be divided into 6% each, 12,000, 12,000. 2 lakh into 6%, that comes to 12,000 each. Supply to a taxable person in Udupi at the instruction of a dealer in J&K. This is taken as interstate transaction, though the goods are supplied in Udupi only. So 4 lakh into 18%, that comes to 72,000. And supply to a unregistered person in Mangalore, intrastate, so 14% each, that comes to 89,600 each. Supply to special economic zone developer in Bangalore. This is considered to be a deemed export and zero rated and therefore not taxable. Supply to a taxable person in Pondicherry, interstate transaction, and therefore 12% on 8 lakh, it comes to 96,000. Supply to a registered person in Pune, it is exempt, very clearly given, so it's not taxable. Export to China, export at zero rate, so not taxable. Supply to a unit of special economic zone in Mysore, so it is deemed to be zero rated and deemed export, so no tax. Supply to a taxable person in Udupi, so on 5 lakh at the rate of 6%, CGST 30,000, SGST 30,000. Supply to a dealer in Belgaum, intrastate, so 14% each, 4 lakh into 14%, 56,000 each. So total turnover of course 69 lakh 80,000, and output tax in the case of CGST is 1 lakh 90,000. So output tax SGST 1,90,100 and input tax IGST 1,68,000. So only these two, this is not to be taken. Okay. Now we'll calculate the net GST payable. First, consider total output tax payable. It is given here 1,90,100, 1,68,000, and utilize. Say now this has to be compared with IGST input tax credit. In this problem, you need not calculate that. It is given. You see, 1,70,000, 90,000, and 1,50,000. So IGST input tax credit is 1,70,000. So first you compare the input tax credit with the output tax liability of IGST. So here you have got surplus IGST input tax credit. So before using ITC of CGST and SGST, first you have to exhaust this surplus 2,000 rupees. So we'll exhaust that. So 2,000 is divided equally between CGST and SGST. So these 2,000 are distributed. So no balance of input tax credit of IGST. So after using these 2,000 towards CGST and SGST in the ratio of 1:1, the balance of output tax liability of CGST and SGST are 1,89,100 and 1,89,100. So utilize the input tax credit of CGST. So that is 90,000 and SGST 1,50,000. As a result, the remaining value, that is the tax payable. Supposing this value is more than this, then still you have got surplus ITC which will be there in the electronic credit ledger. Even here, supposing it is 2 lakh, so there will be surplus ITC, so that will remain in the electronic credit ledger. But here input tax credit balance is lesser than the output tax liability, therefore the net tax payable is 99,100 CGST, 49,100 SGST, and there is no balance in IGST. Now we will take this problem. Computation of transaction value. Compute the transactions value of goods under GST Act from the following information and GST payable. See, all these are given excluding CGST and SGST. Okay, that's fine. So this is the selling price. So to that you have to add all these expenses which are related to supply of goods, directly related to supply of goods, advertising charges, publicity charges, selling and organization charges, loading and handling charges, service charges, outward freight and insurance on buyer's request. All these are to be added. From the total, you have to deduct the discount that is allowed at the rate of 10%. This is repeated here at 10% on the price of the goods and shown in the invoice. Therefore, 10% of 6 lakh. So that should be 10% of 6 lakh. That comes to 60,000. Before that, total of all the 6 lakh plus all these directly related transactions, these are separately shown. See, very clearly it is given. Above expenses are separately shown in the invoice. Therefore, they are to be added, and therefore that comes to 1,80,000. Total is 7,80,000. So deduct trade discount at the rate of 10%. So what you get after that is 7,20,000. That is the transaction value. Now you have to calculate the taxes here. Total output tax payable 9% each, that is 18% divided by 2. So 9% on 7,20,000, 64,800. Here also 64,800. Input tax credit as per electronic credit ledger 12,960 and 14,340. As a result, net GST payable 51,804. CGST I have not written here. CGST it is 51,804 and SGST 50,460. So this is about this particular problem. Now we'll move on to a small problem. Raj Limited has its head office at Bangalore and has 4 branches at Kerala, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh and Delhi. It seeks the service of Star Ad Agency based in Bangalore for advertising its products. The ad agency raises the bill which includes GST amount 6 lakh on the head office. The turnover of head office and branches during the quarter ending 31st/12/2018 were as follows. See, Bangalore so much, Kerala, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Delhi. So the amounts are stated against these offices. Compute the distribution of input tax by the Bangalore head office. Here Bangalore head office is considered to be input tax distributor. Though the bill is raised on Bangalore head office, services are rendered to all these branches. Therefore, the input tax credit has to be distributed among these offices. Let us see how it is being done. So, you just calculate the total value of the turnover of each of these branches. So that comes to 54,40,000. So this is the total turnover of all these offices, including head office. Now you have to calculate the proportion of the value to the total turnover. For example, 11,60,000 out of 54,40,000. So that has to be applied on 6 lakh. So you will get the input tax credit relating to Bangalore head office. See, 6 lakh is the total input tax credit. See, this is the input tax credit. Bill is raised on this, and therefore what you have paid is 6 lakh. But how it should be distributed in the ratio of the turnover, in proportion to the turnover. So total turnover is 54,40,000. Of that, Bangalore head office value is 11,60,000. So 6 lakh into 11,60,000 from out of total of 54,40,000. So you will get share of Bangalore head office. Similarly, in the case of Kerala, 12,80,000 is the value of turnover when compared to 54,40,000. So what is its share from out of 6 lakh? So 6 lakh into 12,80,000 divided by 54,40,000. So you will get this value. And here it is 7,20,000. 7,20,000 out of 54,40,000. So what is it from 6 lakh? So 6 lakh into 7,20,000 divided by 54,40,000. 79,412, that is the value. And here 16,80,000. 16,80,000 divided by 54,40,000. So what is the share of 6 lakh relating to Andhra Pradesh? 6 lakh into this one. So you will get 1,85,000. Delhi, 6 lakh. 6 lakh into 6 lakh divided by 54,40,000. In other words, this must be distributed proportionately. So the value of turnover of each of these officers should be compared with total turnover, and what is your share. Based on that, you have to distribute the total input tax credit among all these offices. So totally, when you add up, that will come to 6 lakh. Thank you.